Greetings gastronauts, this is KeefCooks, I'm Keef, and today I'm going to do a classic South African dish. I'm going to make Boerewors. Boerewors. I probably didn't pronounce that right, but I did try, so there you go. Alright, before we start, special thanks to James Jensvold for a magnificent Patreon thing, which is much appreciated. Thank you, James. So Boerewors means farmer's sausage. It's it's quite rustic. It's actually quite coarse, but it's very, very tasty. And I was the reason I'm doing it is because we went to a food and drink festival last weekend with the expectation that there would be a stall there selling Boerewors in hot dogs, but they didn't show up. So that was massively disappointing because I really wanted one. So I'm making it myself. So if you enjoy this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, etc. And let's get on with it. Boerewors. Now, spices and seasonings are a critical part of any sausage. So I'm going to make mine. I've got all these goodies. So that's 3 teaspoons of ground coriander, half a teaspoon of ground cloves, 3 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 2 teaspoons of ground nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of ground allspice, 1 teaspoon of brown sugar, and 125 ml of red wine vinegar. That's half a cup. Oh, it stinks. You could actually use actual red wine if you wanted to. Now, I'm going to put all these in a jar. Well, and some of it on the table, obviously. And give it a right good shake. Okay, here's the meat for the sausages. Boerewors are mostly beef and sometimes supplemented with other meat like antelope or pork or lamb or whatever you've got running around on your farm. So I've got 500 grams of, that's actually 5% minced steak. I didn't buy it specifically for this, but what you do need is a lot of fat in your sausages. So I'm getting that from these pork chops, which are, look at that. I mean, this marbling on here, it looks like Wagyu. That's 700 grams of pork chops. There's a little bit of bone there, so it'll be a bit less. And that is 250 grams of rump steak. So these will go through the mincer with the coarse plate, so we get nice chunky texture. But I need to do a little bit of prep, so they will go through the machine. And with the chops, I'll cut the fat off. I'm going to very finely cut that by hand, because I know it'll clog up the machine. Now I'm going to change the plate. That's the fine one that I've never ever used, I don't think. And this is the coarse one with nice big chunky holes in it. This is an insanely loud machine, so I am wearing ear defenders because I'm sensible. So I'll whack the big bits of meat through. Okay, everything has been in the fridge for about half an hour because it's important when you're making sausages to keep everything cool. Now I'm going to mix it. Try and get everything evenly distributed. Right, there we go. Lovely sausage mixture. So I'm going to cover that and stick it back in the fridge while I sort out the sausage casings, which I should have done earlier, but forgot. Right, this is my sausage casing, hog casing, which I've had for a very long time. So I hope it's alright. It's kind of packed in salt. There we go. So some casing I think you have to soak for a while. This generally you don't, you just have to give it a rinse to get the salt off. Quite a lot there, surprised. Boerewors are generally done in a kind of coil, a bit like Cumberland sausage. So I'm going to divide the casing into lengths like that. and we'll whiz over to the sink and rinse them in cold water. Now I'm going to fit the sausage extrusion bit. If I remember how to do it. It's a long time since I made sausages. That goes in there. Engage. That goes there. Yeah. That goes on there. With this to lock it. Now I'll tie a knot in the end. Noisy time. Right, we're just about at the end of the casing, so we'll just pull that off and tie that off. And the idea with sausages is to not overfill them. Again, easier to say than to do. Just want to smooth this all. Bloody hot. Can't hear myself speak. Just want to smooth all this out. Oh, lovely, lovely. Hey, I'd buy that. Yeah, that's worth a tenner of anybody's money. Okay, there's Boerewors, number 3, and that's it. I've run out of fillings, so nothing I can do with that, and just chuck it basically. Hey ho. Alright, I'll just roll this one up and try and get them dry-ish before we try and cook them. So there we go. Lovely. Okay, bonus recipe. I'm going to serve my Boerewors in bread roll with Chakalaka, which I've only just read about, so it really is stuff made from what's in your fridge or your cupboard. Literally, this is what I had. It's supposed to have green peppers in it. I haven't got any. I've only got a half can of beans. I actually haven't got any curry powder, or if I have, I can't find it. So I've got, well, this was from when I made curried bratwurst about, well, in October 17. Crikey, but it still smells like curry powder, so I'm going to use some of that. A couple of tomatoes, a grated carrot, a finely diced onion, and ginger garlic paste. Some sweet corn. That'll go well, won't it? Yeah. Cock-a-doodle-doo, indeed. It's the next day. Yesterday was a bit of a disaster when it came to actually cooking my Boerewors. I've forgotten. In South Africa, you would chuck it on the Braai, the barbie. I don't get on with barbecuing, mainly because there's only 2 of us, and it's such a faff to get it going and keep it going, and plus the weather is normally unsuitable. So I decided that I would do it on my cast iron griddle plate, and that proved to be not a right smart move. The absolute critical thing with these sausages is that you don't prick them, and you don't want the skin damaged in any way, because all the lovely fat and juice and everything will come out and you'll be left with an extremely dry sausage. And that's what happened. I lost all the juice, I lost all the fat, and I had a very, very dry sausage. So I decided to remake the cooking section of it, and I'm going to do it in the old air fryer, because that means I can just stick it in there, leave it alone for 10 minutes, turn it over, leave it alone for another 10 minutes, and then it should be done. So that needs to be preheated to 180 degrees Celsius. I'm going to do the smaller one, so I want to, well, I'll spray that with some oil and the inside of the thingy, and just hurl it in. So I need to keep it coiled, because I can't cut it into pieces, obviously, because we'll lose all the juice, but I've just slightly unravelled it so that, you know, all sides get exposed to the heat. There we go then, 10 minutes. Right, that was 10 minutes. There you go, there is the Boerewors. Okay, more squirty oil and another 10 minutes. Right, I'm just going to lightly toast my buttered roll and that's ready. Oh yeah, well that's good. So actually it needs to rest for about 5 minutes and I'm just going to check its internal temp because it should be about 70 degrees. Whoa, way over, that is proper cool. Link below if you want one of these wonderful things. And the chakalaka that I made yesterday, I've just microwaved it to warm it up. You can have it hot or cold, but I want it hot. Okay, let's grab a lump of sausage. About that much, I think. It's a shame I broke my bread roll so that the hinges come apart. But, right, finally, taste test. I've only waited 2 days for this, so let's get laughing tackle around this. Yeah, that is much better than yesterday's effort. Nice and juicy, the cloves, the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the allspice, they're all there. Well, there we go. Boerewors, and very fine it is too. Makes a tasty change. Okay, so thanks for watching. See you next time.